Hey everyone, it's Hannah and welcome back to the 31st episode of the Crafty Chat podcast. My name is Hannah, just like I've just literally the second said. I'm sorry, I've been awake a very long time. I've just got back from work and it was an early morning. My alarm went off at 5:15. It is currently 3:05. I am battling with a setting sun. My makeup has been done for 10 hours. You got the drift. Yes, my name is Hannah. I'm coming at you today from a rather cloudy and quite chilly Nottingham in the UK. What else do I usually say? I seem to have temporarily misplaced my podcasting notebook. It's probably in this mess of a room somewhere, but I'm a very messy person, so it's gonna be a while before I find it, probably. Or I'll find it as soon as I finish recording this podcast, because that's what usually ends up happening. Yes. I am known as the Corner of Craft on most social media. If you'd like to follow me on social media, all of the links are in the description box below, as well as just here, so you can just type it in if you fancy that instead. And yes, also in the description box below this video, there is a link to the podcast group. And in the podcast group, which is the Crafty Chat podcast group, within that group there is also a thread just for this episode, just for episode 31, which at time of recording is unnamed, but will be named by the time that you watch this, obviously. Yeah, and in there you will find a list of all of the notes and all of the details about the things that I'm talking about, bad English, in this podcast. I think that's my usual opener. This is the Crafty Chat podcast because it is a knitting / crochet, but only knitting today, sorry, podcast in which I talk about knitting and also tea. Wow. Well, it's been a day. It's been a day. I've only just eaten for the first time and it's 3 o'clock. So I might be a little bit all over the place today. But I did want to get a podcast recorded because I do enjoy recording a podcast and I do like talking to all of you. So I did want to get one recorded today, even though I'm quite short on time this week. The tea I am drinking today, because I do want to start doing tea reviews at the beginning of my videos. I am drinking Bluebird Tea Company Honey Bee Beautiful. It's a rooibos tea. Soothing and sweet. Bluebird Tea Company is a tea company here in the UK, which I think started out in Brighton, so I knew about it when I was living with my parents, and then now is up here in Nottingham. So this is one of the first teas of theirs that I bought in their new shop. It's a decaf tea. I definitely should have picked something with caffeine in, but I also am craving sweet things. So naturally decaffeinated rooibos tea, also known as red bush tea. Antioxidant rich and is natural exfoliant. I don't know why that is on here because I'm drinking it, but it's rooibos, honeybush, chamomile, nettle, cornflowers, calendula petals, and it says flavour, mystery flavour. It says it's a 4+ minute brew time. I didn't actually usually I time how long I steep my tea for. I've become quite regimented, sure, with how I steep tea. I like to set the timer now, but I forgot to with this one, so I was running around setting up for the podcast. I think it was about 4 minutes. And it says with or without milk. I enjoy it with milk, just a splash. It's a really tasty tea. It's not really sweet. It's kind of got the florally taste of honey, if that makes sense. You know how some honeys are quite floral. This tea is like that, but it is nice. It's a little bit sweet. It's quite a comforting taste and a really nice one to have before you go to bed, which is obviously why I am drinking it in the middle of the day when I should have more caffeine. We don't always do things in a logical way. By we, I mean me. The royal we, which is just me. So, it's been almost 2 weeks since I last recorded a podcast. I have a feeling the last podcast I recorded was on a Saturday, and today is a Thursday, so it's not quite 2 weeks. And you know what? appear to have got as much knitted as I thought I was going to. I don't quite know why. I feel like I've done quite a lot of knitting. I have very dry hands. I should have moisturised. I feel like I've done quite a lot of knitting, but haven't really got very far on anything. So my main project, my personal project, let's start out with the big guns, was to make headway with this. Last time I podcast, I was down here where this little teacup is, and I will post a link to the Etsy shop in the show notes, to the little teacup. It's really cute. But yeah, that's where I was. So I finished off the bottom, and then I've done one sleeve, but I have gorilla arms, so my arms are really long, so I knit the sleeve for what felt like forever. Like, this was a 2 and a bit hour D&D session, and I managed to get from that red line down done. So, kind of frustrating. But yes, I changed the pattern slightly because it calls for a really long ribbing at the end. I think it's meant to come down to about here, and then the rest of the sleeve is ribbing, but I didn't want that, so I knit down further and then decreased and then did ribbing. It's a loose sleeve, it's not a fitted sleeve, which means that you don't decrease constantly the whole way down, which is quite useful. And also, I'm not a huge fan of my arms, so if I can cover them up, I will. But yeah, I posted a picture of me wearing this with one sleeve completed on Instagram, and I'm aware that how it was cropped looks like I've got how it was cropped, how I cropped it. There we go. It does look like that I've got 2 sleeves finished, but it isn't. It's just my very pale arm, which is like the same colour because I'm just very pale. But people seemed to like, got very good feedback on the almost completed swag. But the plan is to have this finished by the next time I talk to you, so I can talk about some new and interesting projects for you all. I still really like this pattern. I still love this pattern. The yarns I'm using, this dark red colour is Countess Ablaze in her Lady Persephone sock base, which is 75% BFL, 25% nylon, and it is superwash. And that's in the colour Waging Wars on Myself. I have a feeling it's a one-of-a-kind colourway, but it's a really nice deep red. I bought it from her shop when as in her physical brick and mortar shop when I went to Manchester. And then the lighter colour is the Emmy Lou, who is a German dyer called Ute. Emmy Lou, and it's in the Spicy Speckles colourway, and that's 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. And I bought that from Aschaffenburg Wollträumer, which was a little wool festival thing that I went to early-ish last year. And I love this cream yarn so much. So the body of the pattern has these cables all the way over it, which is why it's taken me so long to do. Just these little crisscross cables, which I do without a cable needle. On the body I alternated skeins, on the arms I am not. I think it's a natural yarn base with speckles on, so I'm not too worried about it matching because it does really well. The only thing that wouldn't particularly match is this sleeve's going to have more speckles than this one, but that's okay. I don't think anyone's going to come up to me and say, excuse me, the speckling on your sleeves is uneven. But yes, I've got this much of one ball left, and I have about a little bit less of another ball left, so I think I have plenty for the sleeves. The cast off that I did, I was talking to Becky of Soprano Knits about cast offs, because it's not a Crafty Chat podcast unless I talk about Becky. And she suggested somebody's stretchy bind off, someone's twisty bind off. I'll pop a link to the video tutorial that I used, but when you knit the stitch, you then twist the needle and then knit the other stitch and slip that twisted needle over, twisted stitch over, and it creates a stretchy cast off without it flaring too much, which is quite nice. What else to say? So yeah, I did 20 rows of ribbing at the end. I knit my sleeve until it was long enough for me. And yeah, I wanted to knit all the jumpers. I was hoping to get another, so I will probably be wearing this to Edinburgh Yarn Festival along with everyone else, because everyone will have a Zweig. But that's fine because we can have a Zweig group photo and it'll be totally awesome. And I was hoping to have another jumper knit in time for EYF, but I don't have any double knit and up jumper quantities. And I don't think I will have time to knit a 4-ply jumper in a couple of weeks. So there's that dream dead. But yeah, really excited, really enjoying knitting this jumper. Yes, I like it. Hopefully, by the next time I talk to you, it will be completely done. I'm going to say that quite a lot today, I feel. I am using the needles suggested in the pattern because I hit gauge, because I swatch, and all the ends are woven in already, except for obviously this one. But even the end that I cast on for the sleeve and picked up the stitches with, even that one's woven in. Someone on my Instagram picture asked how I avoid the infamous armpit holes, and honestly, I sew up the hole. I pick up an extra couple of stitches and then decrease those stitches on the first round, but I also just sew up the hole. Can't avoid it sometimes, but that's okay. So yeah, Zweig, fun, enjoy. That's a pattern by Caitlin Hunter. I think I've mentioned that. I haven't mentioned that this week. Oh wow, I do look tired. That's okay. Don't we all at some point in our lives? Let me sip my chamomile tea. That will surely wake me up. It's funny because it's not true. Okay, so the next thing I haven't finished is my sock head hat. I'm on the decreases. I could have finished this had I not gone to bed yesterday, when I did, because I got an early night because I had to be up early this morning. And I'll probably have an early night tonight as well. I need to I need to switch needles, so I do magic loop. This is the sock head hat. I've forgotten who the pattern is by. The link to the pattern will be in the show notes, podcast notes. The yarn I'm using is a fantastic yarn that I love. It is called Do the Magic. It is by Down Sheepy Lane. It is a fantastic colour that goes with basically everything I've ever knit. I got quite a large chunk of this done when I went to the pub on Saturday, because I pub knit quite happily with a bunch of non-knitters. They ask lots of questions. I get lots of stares, especially because there were people there that I haven't met before, so I got lots of stares, but that's okay. I just usually talk to them about what I'm doing, and that's fine. But I got a huge chunk done. I could have got more done, but I didn't have my tape measure with me, and I didn't know how long I had to go before I needed to start decreasing. I stopped 6 centimeters short of what the pattern suggested for decreases, because I did that on my other socket hat that I knit over Christmas, and it seems to work, and I quite like it, so that's fine. I'm following the pattern exactly, other than I have gone up a needle size because I have a big head. Instead of adjusting the stitch count, I've decided to go up to a 3.25mm needle instead, and that's fine. And yeah, really am enjoying this knit. This has kind of been my mindless knitting instead of socks, which is quite nice to do as an alternative. For people who are fed up of knitting socks but have quite a lot of sock yarn in their stash, the sock head hat is a good one to do. Oh, I forgot to say, this Down Sheepy Lane yarn is on her sturdy sock base, which is 75/25 superwash BFL and nylon, and they're really nice colours. It was her monthly colourway, it was her January colourway, so I don't think you can get it anymore. And I am slightly sad that I didn't buy a sweater's quantity of it, like I knew I would be, but I am trying to save money for Edinburgh Yarn Festival and also going to Sweden a couple of weeks before that. So all the holidays apparently. So yeah, just check out that speckling. Oh, yeah. Debbie, the dyer behind Down Sheepy Lane, was kind enough to send this to me along with a mini skein that I lost in the cinema when I was cinema knitting, and I had to cast it on almost right away, but this hat has been on the needle for too long, needles for too long, and I have this skein of yarn that is desperately calling out for me to knit a hat from, which is Beehive Yarns, and it didn't come as a set. I put them together so I don't lose it. This mini is called Treacle Tart, and then this one is called Sandpiper. Because you know I love me a natural yarn with some speckles. And this is going to be my pom-pom. So I really need to knit a hat with this. But I need to finish this first because I don't have a... okay, this is the good thing about me. I don't have a whole host of needles. So it means that I can't cast on lots of things, because if I do, then I don't have the needles. So that works in my favour. And I'd rather spend money on yarn than I would extra needles, apparently. So it means I have to sort of control how much I cast on, which is good. I like to have one big thing on the go and one small thing on the go. So at the moment I've got a hat and my jumper, and I do also have a pair of socks. Because you always have to have a pair of socks on the go. Because even, are you even a knitter if you don't have a pair of socks on the go? You are. Because I know not everyone likes to knit socks. That was just me making a joke. I don't think I have anything else to say about this, except for the fact that yarn is a fantastic colour and definitely want to be buying some more yarn from Debbie at some point in the future. So that's... I will be completing this today and then being really annoyed that I couldn't talk about it in today's podcast as a finished object. But hopefully this will also get completed this weekend, or over the next couple of weeks. Basically, the theory is next time I podcast, because I podcast fortnightly, theory is next time I podcast I will have 3 finished things and 3 new things on the needle. That's the goal. Who knows if it will happen? Isn't life exciting? I need more tea. So the final thing that I have to talk about are a pair of socks. So I showed you this one last time. And I cast on the second one. Did I show you that last time? I can't remember. Anyway, I've knit this much. I knit quite a lot of this in the cinema yesterday. We went to see Coco. But I didn't... So usually when I go to cinema I just sort of sit and I knit and I knit and I knit and I knit until the film ends. But I didn't do that so much yesterday because I wasn't sure how far I had to knit down before increasing for the heel, because this is the new Depths heel pattern by Becky Sorensen, aka Soprano Knits. And obviously it's dark in the cinema so I can't see. So I've got a couple more stripes before increasing. So hopefully I can turn the heel over the next couple of days, but we shall see. I'm not going to hold my breath. I'm working a relative amount this week, so I'm pretty tired. It's lots of early nights, and then my parents are visiting, so I can't just sit and knit. So the stripy yarn is hand dyed by Kate. It is her Snowflake Stripes colourway. I'm sorry for the state of my hands. Yes, it's 80% superwash merino, 10% nylon, 10% cashmere. And then the contrast, I'm using Silver by Truly Hooked on her standard sock, which is 75-25 superwash merino and nylon. And it matches almost perfectly. So I've got a hoe. Just need to keep going with this one, but I'm getting a bit fed up with it now. It's been on the needles for too long. That's how I feel about socks sometimes. I've been too excited to knit my hat and my jumper instead. So this has been completely abandoned. yeah, I'm just doing a plain vanilla sock. I'm using a 2.25mm needle. I did a German twisted cast on, and I'm doing 64 stitches around, because that is what I usually do for a vanilla sock. Fantastic, cool. So those are actually all my works in progress, which is fun. I have a couple of stash enhancements, nothing terribly large, but both quite pleasant. So I was watching Knit Nottingham, which is a yarn shop in Nottingham, owned by the lovely Eleanor, and she uploads video vlogs, if you will, about various yarns that she's got in the shop and various things like that. And she posted a vlog about this yarn, and I had to get it. It's Sirdar Snuggly, which is technically their baby range, but I had to get this, and I'm going to make a hat out of it. This is colour 205, which is really catchy. It's just a grey acrylic yarn, and it's got some colourful polyester running through it, and it's just really fun. So I really wanted to get it and make a hat, because apparently I want to make lots of hats at the moment. Yeah, it's quite soft. And the reason I went into Knit Nottingham is because on Saturday I had a lovely visit from two lovely people, Suzanne of Green Lambkin and her daughter Ivy, and we wandered around Nottingham and ate ice cream and bought yarn, and bless them, they brought along a little present for me. So Green Lambkin Yarn is Suzanne's dye company, and I've been talking about how I want to branch out in the colours that I knit with, because I always knit with these colours basically, lots of purples, lots of teals, mint green and grey. So Suzanne brought along a skein of yarn that she dyed, which isn't the most seasonal of yarns, but it's still fantastic. And it's these colours here. And it's on her sparkle sock, which is 75% merino, 20% nylon, 5% stellina. It is 4-ply yarn, so sock yarn, and it is in the colour Jelloween, so it's her Halloween colourway. And it's got some fantastic bright greens and oranges, which is out of my comfort zone, but does also have the comfort of purple and grey. And I'm excited to knit this. I don't know what I'm going to make with it, but I'm very excited, because it's going to be fantastic. There is all of her information. Oop. And yeah, her daughter Ivy also made me a little pearl bead unicorn, which is super cute, or hammer bead if you will. And I also got a selection of Halloweeny stitch markers, all of which are super cute. So I got this pumpkin, which is cool. Got this super cute little bat. I got this awesome witch's hat, which has a really cute little pumpkin dangling off it, which is so sweet. And then I've got some ring progress keepers as well, with little beads on. I've got 4 of them in corresponding colours to the Jelloween sock yarn. So that's pretty darn awesome. So thank you very much to Suzanne and Ivy for my lovely presents. I really, really like them. Yay! Ooh. Ooh, Becky, you're messaging me. I'm going to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. And now I will not be disturbed. Someone in the Ask Me Anything thread, which I have on Ravelry, asked if I could show them my yarn shelves. I'm not going to show you all of it, because there's a bit of mess over this way on the floor, just down here, because I'm a messy person, as I've said. So, you know, if mess stresses you out, apologies. Da -da 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 -da. So this is my non-sock yarn cubby. I've got predominantly double knit in here, but I also have a skein of cocoon, which I think is technically a bulky weight. And I've got a couple of super bulky, I'm gonna not face away from the camera as I'm talking, a couple of super bulky that I got for Christmas. And then some double knit, quite a lot of double knit. Down here is like odds and sods of sock yarn that I've used. So here is one that I used in my Half Moon Oracle. This is my Wool and Vine yarn, The Last Unicorn. Yeah, odds and ends that might be useful or might go all together. This is going to be a pair of socks for Mario. It's not really odds and ends. This is just heels, toes and cuffs. I didn't know where else to put them. Here is all of my skeined up sock yarn that I have. Most of it I have projects in mind for. Some of it I do not. Down here are my crochet books. I forgot to say, here are my knitting books down here with the odds and ends. I've got crochet books here. These 3 skeins are going to be a jumper. This is my hand dyed yarn in the Vampiric Touch colourway, but I haven't thought about casting that one yet. Don't mind me, I'm just scooting along. Here I've got project bags and a cute crochet doll of me that one of my good friends Ashley made for me. So thanks Ash, that was super cool. Because my hair used to look like this. If you're new to the channel, then you won't know, but my hair used to look like this. Now it's far less exciting. I need to re-dye it, that's what needs to happen with it. And then here in this cubby, I've got all my sort of commercial sock yarn. I've got a couple of skeins of Regia. I've got some Opal. I've got some Aldi. Yeah. Down in that corner, I'm not entirely sure. And then in that drawer here, I've got all of my acrylic double knit that I've used for sort of my amigurumi kind of thing, for when I crochet things for people and making dice bags and all of that. And that's predominantly double knit in there as well. But yeah, I need to try and get some of this stashed down for EYF, but I don't know if that's going to happen. Probably not. I'm running out of room. I suppose I can always squish it down. But yeah, this is my yarn shelf. Yeah. If you see me live streaming on Instagram and you can see more yarn in the background, that's actually my hand-dyed yarn that I don't use and is just sort of stored over there in another one of these, which is stood up. So yeah, that is my yarn shelf. Thought that, you know, if one person has inquired about it, somebody else might find that interesting. Okay, if the angle has changed slightly, it's because I had to do a quick emergency charge on my camera because it started to flash low battery. So I'm probably going to be fighting that for the rest of the podcast. So that's going to be fun, but I need to get this filmed. So tomorrow I am hoping for a shop update if I manage to get things photographed. But I'm working till the same time tomorrow. But hopefully I can get things photographed and edited and updated. But be sure to keep an eye on my Instagram page because that is where I'll be posting the time of the update closer to the time. Because it's impossible for me to say right now until I get more done, if that makes sense. So, for those who don't know, I have an Etsy shop. It is called thecornerofcraft.etsy.com. And in there I do beaded stitch markers and I also dye yarn. So this week is going to be a yarny update. I dye yarn in colourways inspired by Dungeons and Dragons, which is a game that I very much enjoy playing. And yeah, so these are the skeins that will be going in the shop. So I've got Vampiric Touch. This is Vampiric Touch 2.0, the revamp, if you will. So witty, just because I much prefer how this looks. And as my dyeing advances, so will the yarn I dye. So this is Vampiric Touch. This, I have 2 skeins of this going in the shop on my 75-25 BF Superwash BFL and nylon. This is Potion of Heroism, which is much more blue in person than it's coming across. It's coming across quite purple, but it's not. It's much more blue in person. Also the same base. I've got a couple of skeins of this going in. Also on the same base, I've got 2 skeins of Natural Explorer going in, which is a nice green colour with brown and such. Really nice colour. I've got chaotic neutrals. I think this is going to be a one-off skein. Or I've got two of them, but they are going to be one-off. Chaotic neutrals might look random every time I do it, and I'll have to re-photograph it every time, but it's just kind of it was a neutral grey, well, like a really pale grey base, which I then just speckled loads of colours on. I had lots of fun. Oh, that bit's really fun. So yeah, chaotic neutrals. Okay, that's also on 75/25 Superwash Merino nylon. On the same base, these aren't skeined up because I'm not 100% sure if they're not 100% dry yet, so I will be hanging them back up when I go back downstairs. This is School of Enchantment, but this once again is a one-off because it didn't quite dye up the same as the first School of Enchantment that I dyed. The first one I dyed was a much lighter skein, and this one is much darker, has brighter colours on it. I think I over speckled, which is, you know, something I am very good at, a bit heavy handed on the speckles, but it's kind of a lilac-y purple colour with speckles of purple, blue and magenta. So yeah, got two of them going in on the same base, 75/25 Superwash Merino nylon. I'm gonna stop saying the name base. Also on the same base. I think this one's going to be called Rage or Reckless Attack. I'm not sure yet, but it's one for our barbarians. Yeah, it's really fun. It is red and black, and then some sort of bare yarn as well. But it's really fun. Kind of like got some grey in places and some. Really enjoy this one. Yeah, that was really fun. I didn't want to skein them up because they're not 100% dry. So, and this one is one inspired by sorcerers, but I haven't quite decided on a name yet. I've got a few jumping around in my head, or maybe wizard inspired. I'll have a look in the player's handbook and see. But it's a really nice yellow colour, like a goldeny yellow, with some dark blue, and then obviously where the blue and the yellow mix goes more green. And then it's got some natural yarn in it as well. It's really nice. I really like this one as well. Yep, approved. So I've got two of them going in as well. Now the rest of the yarn I'm going to be showing you, I also have two of each skein, two of each colourway going in, but these are on 100% merino base, and I haven't dyed any for my shop yet in 100% merino, so I thought, no time like the present. So this one is called Potion of Water Breathing, but might just be called Water Breathing, so I don't have too many potion of, but it's really lovely. It's kind of with turquoise and blue, and you can see some natural yarn through it as well. I really enjoy, and it's really soft because it's merino. Merino's very soft. Although the BFL, like I always say, it's not a scratchy yarn, it's still soft, it's just a different soft. We've got some flail snail going in, mainly because I love the name and also I think it looks fantastic. I did not tidy these skeins before, I just got in from work and set up for a podcast. But yeah, flail snail, just named after a monster. Turquoise and natural with some sort of corally colour and then speckled with orange, brown and a bit of magenta. Really lovely. Then I've got this one, which is one I've dyed before and I've completely forgotten the name of. It's just gone blank, completely blank. I literally thought of it as I looked at the colour, but it's just gone completely blank. But this one is purple with some black, just quite tonal, quite lovely, delightful. If this doesn't sell, I have a plan, but I got a couple of just manic speckly ones just because I had fun with a different dye method. So I've got this one, which is that one? Yes. No. This one? Yeah, no, this one. This one, which is just quite fun. I'm getting confused as to which one is which. Yeah, this one is just quite fun. They both look quite similar. And I got two going in. I haven't named this one as yet, but it's got, you know, some natural colour showing through and then some patches with speckles, which is really, really fun. And then my battery's flashing again, of course it is. This is prismatic spray, which is what my yarn company was originally going to be called. I need to work on how I dye this. So this is prismatic spray, first attempt, and it's meant to be kind of all the different colours, but it seems to have picked up the purple quite a lot. So I think I need to change the order and speckle the colours on. But that's okay, because life is a learning curve. So maybe I'll name this something else, but it's really fun. But my thing I was going to do is, if one of these doesn't sell and one of these doesn't sell, use them together in a shawl. But I could always just put them to one side. But then you're not meant to keep all the yarn that you dye, are you? No. Because I just think that looks really lovely. But maybe I will keep it. We shall see. So yes, that will be going, these will all be going in the shop tomorrow. I've got 2 of each colourway going in on the basis that I specified. So feel free to check out the shop tomorrow. Follow me on Instagram, because that is where I'll be posting when the shop update is, in my Instagram stories. And yeah, I think that's everything for the shop update. Okay, so my battery keeps dying, so I probably should wrap up this video. Let's just talk about life for a little bit, shall we? It has been good. I haven't really been up to abundance of things, and I still really want to keep these. Oh, this purple is called Vicious Mockery, by the way. I just looked it up as my battery was charging. Yeah, like I say, Suzanne came to visit Nottingham on Saturday, so we had a lot of fun walking around the town, and I went out for a few drinks on Saturday night, which was also an enjoyable experience. And then, oh, we went to see Coco yesterday, which is a new Pixar film that's come out, and really, really enjoyed it. I mean, standard Pixar film, definitely cried at the end, but what is a Pixar film without a few tears? Just another film, isn't it? It's not a Pixar film. I don't know, Pixar always seems to make me cry. But yes, really enjoyed Coco, plus the music is fantastic. Love the sound of the Spanish guitar. So yeah, recommend that film. What else have I been doing? Not an awful lot. Thank you to everyone who bought stitch markers from me for my last shop update. Very much appreciated that. I am hoping to do another stitch marker shop update next week. I've got some new patterns that I'm excited to make. I have some new beads that I'm excited to try. And yeah. I'm trying to think if there's an abundance of other things I have to tell you about life. Not really. My parents are coming to visit. They are arriving on Saturday and they're staying for a few days, so that is very exciting. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Nothing terribly exciting. Lots of early nights have been had. Living the wild life of a 27-year-old. But yeah, I think that's everything I have to say. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, please feel free to hit subscribe and hit the thumbs up button below this video. It helps to get my YouTube channel out there to more people, which is always useful, seeing as YouTube is a source of income for me, so the more people that can view my videos, the better. Plus, I do like to, you know, welcome more people into the family of the Corner of Craft, which sounds really cheesy and awful as I'm saying it. I judge myself. Let's ignore that one. Also, if you would like to know more information about any of the things that I've talked about, please feel free to check out the description box below and hit the link to the Ravelry group. I will put a list of the show notes in there so you can click on any of those things and be more informed. And that's the word I'm looking for. Don't forget to check me out on social media. Links can all be found in the description box below, as well as, you know, you can just type it in to the app if you would prefer to do that. It is allowed. And yeah, I think that's everything I have to say. Bit of a short one this week. Hopefully next podcast will be a little bit longer. And yes, thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you very soon in my next podcast or video. Maybe I'll do a live stream, who knows. Thank you very much. I will see you in my next video. Bye.